Body bags where horror lies.
Hello everyone and welcome back to Body Bags. I'm your host, the Sinister One, for Thursday evening, and today is a theme week, and today's theme week is films from 1990. The decade, the genre films from the years of the 90s. So I chose a off-the-wall, overlooked film to review for the 90s, and that is Return of the Boogeyman. Yes, Uli Lommel's Boogeyman 3 in his trilogy. Now, yes, I do believe this film was from 1997. This film is based off of Uli Lommel's Boogeyman film from the 80s. Now, he did a sequel called Boogeyman 2, the director's cut, and apparently he wanted to do it his own way if he was going to make that film. So he starred in his own film and was narrating it and pretty much showing the whole entire Boogeyman film with segments of him in it being interviewed in a police station. And that movie was just god awful. So here we go with Return of the Boogeyman, aka Boogeyman 3. Not much any different from Boogeyman 2 or Boogeyman. In this film, we have a woman who has psychic abilities and is seeing these visions of people getting murdered by the Boogeyman, who she is seeing the visions from the very first Boogeyman film. So yet again, the very first Boogeyman film scenes are in this movie, and she's explaining what's happening, and she has a fear that this Boogeyman is going to come get her, so she's with this shrink, and he's kind of guiding her through her dreams and her visions and trying to wean her off the fear of the Boogeyman's coming to get her through the mirror. And she's afraid of silk stockings, so hence the Boogeyman wears silk stockings to hide his face. And so she narrates pretty much every single death scene in the very first Boogeyman film, which we've already seen, and we liked that movie, but then we had to see all that same footage again in Boogeyman 2. Now we're seeing it for the third time in Boogeyman 3. Not much has changed, except now you have a female explaining how the death scenes occur instead of Uli Lommel in a police precinct explain it. And so you go through the whole entire first Boogeyman film, death scene by death scene, until the very end, which is, you know, minutes showing that she has defeated the boogeyman, her fears are gone, and what have you. And then, you know, I'm not going to give away the very, very end. I'll leave that up to you, fans of the Body Bag channel, to view for yourself if you really do love these boogeyman films. I really do enjoy the very first one, but up to this one, they're complete and utter dog shit. But, you know, I'm a genre fan, and I really do enjoy these terrible films for what they are, and I enjoyed watching it. So here's the tagline right here that just blows me away. It says, filled with edgy photography and a truly menacing villain, Return of the Boogeyman makes Nightmare on Elm Street look, sweet dreams and sugar plums. Which is a terrible tagline. I mean, you know, the grammar is just misplaced, butchered. But then we have one on the front that says, don't you dare sleep with the lights out. And, you know, I love the cover art to this film more than I actually like the film. So, looks good in the collection, but if I'm going to watch Uli Lommel's Boogeyman, one of his films from the Boogeyman trilogy, I'm going to stick with the very first one and keep it at that. That's my personal opinion. This movie gets no stars. And that'll be it for my review of Return of the Boogeyman, aka Boogeyman 3. Yes, I recommend that you watch it just to see what I'm talking about. A complete terrible movie by Uli Lommel, and some of his movies I really do appreciate. I love Uli Lommel. I appreciate what he has done with these films. He was trying to go on his own path. I do believe that these Boogeyman films, they had a lot of potential, but they fell short due to repeating the same thing over and over and over again, and not showing enough each time of the exact same movie. Every time it gets shorter and shorter and more cut. So yeah, not much else to say about Return of the Boogeyman, other than it was from, I believe, 1997. Well, it says 1997, and then up here it says 1994. So it was a 90s film. It could have been 92, who knows. Either way, it was a rare film from back in the day, probably on the VHS section of the horror films at your local video store, and just by the cover art alone it probably intrigued you to grab it, not knowing there probably was even a Boogeyman original or Boogeyman 2. So with that being said, thanks for watching. Check out everyone else's reviews. I'll be back next week hopefully with another review. Until then, keep watching those bees.